When I started my business, I hired a business coach. And he did all types of things with me, including a business plan. He talked about how to change the way I was working from going from corporate to now kind of running my own show. I had the ability and the autonomy and the freedom to say when I worked, where I worked, what my schedule was, rather than it being dictated for me. So that meant that I needed to try some things differently. And it was unfamiliar, uncharted territory. So, one of the things that I needed to do was really up my ability to make progress. And one of the things that I had to do was learn some things and put some time in to be a student of learning all the new skills, running a business, how to run a business, and all different things and areas that come along with that. Hey everybody, welcome to Finding the Upside. I am so happy you chose to join me today. Thanks for taking some time to hang out with me. Today I am talking about time management hacks. And I want to talk about this really from a perspective with my own experience many years ago with a business coach that I had that really challenged me to change the way that I did things, to get more productivity. And it was something that I wanted. It was something that I went to him for. And he had really challenged me to change the way I was doing some things. And some of the things that he suggested, they were tools, they were techniques. And I have to say this before I share them, because I'm going to share with you 3 of the major things that he taught me, but also how I reacted to them. And that's really what I want to break down today. How I reacted to them and how I kind of kicked and screamed at trying them. And what I want you to think about, not only I want you to get value out of the 3 hacks or tools, techniques that I'm going to share with you that he taught me in this episode. I'm going to share those with you. I really want you to think about how you approach changing the way you do things. Do you get stuck in the ways that you used to do things? Do you kind of face suggestions with a negative view and don't even give it a chance? Listen, we're human and I get it. I'm just like you. Nobody likes change, although I actually do. But just generally speaking, most people do not say, yay, change. Yes, I have to change what I'm doing. Why? Because human beings like comfort. Human beings like to stay right where they are. That's just a state that our survival instincts really protect us, right? If we get into an area that's unknown, we think danger, danger. It's kind of intrinsic. And it also makes us uncomfortable. So we got to repel that. So let me talk to you about how this all came to be. When I started my business, I hired a business coach. And he did all types of things with me, including a business plan. He talked about how to change the way I was working from going from corporate to now kind of running my own show. I had the ability and the autonomy and the freedom to say when I worked, where I worked, what my schedule was, rather than it being dictated for me. So that meant that I needed to try some things differently. And it was unfamiliar, uncharted territory. So one of the things that I needed to do was really up my ability to make progress. And one of the things that I had to do was learn some things and put some time in to be a student of learning all the new skills, running a business, how to run a business, and all different things and areas that come along with that I had to learn. So I had some studying to do. I had some reading to do. I had some coaching and videos to watch and courses to take and so on and so forth. And I thought, how am I going to be able to do this but still produce so that the business runs? Okay, so he's like, well, here's what I want you to do. First off, in terms of how we manage our time, we need to figure out where our time is going, because a lot of the problem is that what we think we're doing is different than what we're actually doing. So I remember this when I had a friend that I was talking to about her business, and she was like, I spend like 30 hours a week working on my business and I just don't have any more time, but I'm not making enough money in my business. And this tool that he asked me to do, I actually turned to her and challenged her to do at the same time. Because one of the things that he was saying to me was, in order to find another 10 to 12 hours, you've got to figure out what you're already doing with your time. A week of the past is the key to your future. You've got to figure out where your time is going and really just then and analyze how you're spending your time and if that is supporting how you want to move forward. So he said, I want you to keep a time journal and journal and document how you spend your time. And I said, Rick, what do you mean? You want me to literally write down like wake up from this time to this time, shower from this time to this time, do email from this time to this time, commute, drop off kids at school? Yes, he said. And I said, that's ridiculous. I pretty much do the same thing every day. And he's like, just do it. Just do it. So I kicked and screamed. I did it. And you know what? I was right. I did pretty much do the same thing every day. But what it allowed me to do was step back and look at that week in totality and see where I was spending maybe a little too much time watching TV at night, maybe a lot of time commuting from appointment to appointment. And that opened up the opportunity for me to say, well, I don't have to spend whatever it was for the week, 10 to 15 hours a week watching TV in the evenings. I could cut that back, not remove it because I liked it, but I could cut that back to half the time and spend half of that time reading some of the books and things that I wanted to read to learn what I needed to learn. I also saw that all the time spent in the car, I could start to stack some things. So what do I mean? Instead of waiting to get to my desk to do all these phone calls, I could get myself real efficient and make some phone calls in a way. It was real easy to do, especially with all the tools and the phone and all of the things that you can do with the Bluetooth and everything in the car, where I would just make a little agenda with everybody's phone number that I needed to call. And I would go down the list and do one after the other and have conversations, almost like stack my commute time with all of the correspondence and not emails, because I'm not going to drive and do emails, but all the conversations that I could have, I could do while I was in the car. Another thing that I've done now, more in the future with that, is walks. If I'm taking a walk, I also can make phone calls. I could also have conversations while I'm taking my walk, and that's stacking activities, which is one of the things that he taught me with that. So, time journal. Now, back to my friend. I told my friend to do the same thing. She reacted the exact same way. I said, Vicky, just go ahead and do it. She's like, okay. When she did it after a week and looked back, she was like, wow, I only spend about 10 hours a week on my business. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. When she actually wrote down what she was doing, what she thought she was doing, and how much time she was spending actually was different than what she thought. That's why she wasn't making money, because she was only spending 10 hours a week thinking she was spending 30. Now, let me give her a break here and cut her some slack. When you work out of your house, and this is a common thing for most people these days, it's very easy to get caught up in, I'm working, oh, let me just throw a load of laundry in. Oh, these dishes need to be done. So the time that you actually think that you're working on your business at home, you're not really dedicating that time fully to your business. You're getting distracted with other activities. So that's an important point as well that the time journal can help bring out. So a time journal. Keep a time journal for a week. A week of your past is the key to the future. That's time hack number 1. Time hack number 2 is time blocking. Okay, now everybody knows what time blocking is, right? But I'm going to take you through how he introduced this to me. Rick said, I want you to start entertaining doing time blocking where you set a start and stop time for activities. Now, a lot of us do this, but back then, and this was 15 years ago, I really, obviously I had meetings on my calendar and planning and things like that, planning meetings and communication meetings and touch base with my team and all of those things. But actually scheduling time, start and stop time for activities, and not just work activities, personal activities as well, I had not tried. Again, I pushed back. Rick, are you kidding me? You want me to put start cleaning the garage at this time and ends cleaning the garage at this time? And he said, yes. And maybe it's cleaning the garage, maybe it's writing this brief, maybe it's writing a proposal, maybe it's creating content, whatever it is. Start and stop time. Here's why. And he gave this example, if I started cleaning the garage, Saturday I'm going to clean the garage. I start to clean the garage, and all of a sudden I find the lawnmower that needs to be fixed. I take the lawnmower out, I start fiddling around with it, and then I realize I really need to bring it to a shop because I can't fix it myself. So I put it in the car, I go to the shop, I talk with the guy, and then by the time I get back, another hour has passed by. Then I run into the luggage that I borrowed from my brother-in-law. Oh, let me put it in the car and bring it over to his house. And then I go to his house, and then we get to talking, and then he says, can you help me with this? You get the picture, he says. You get the picture. The time spending that was supposed to be spent cleaning the garage is actually filled with distractions and things that weren't intentionally part of the plan. And that happens even sitting at your computer, am I right? You plan to do one thing, you get distracted by something else, and then you're off to the races and not getting what you want done. But if you say, from 9 to 11, I'm going to clean the garage, all of a sudden what that does to our brain, and this is based on research, not only experience that he has and now I do too, but based on research, your brain sees that there is a finite time from 9 to 11 that you have. So now, because you have an end time, you start to work much more efficiently. You say, okay, let me just put this lawnmower aside, and then when I'm done, I'll make a plan for how this is going to get fixed. Let me just stash the luggage in the car, and on my way to work tomorrow, I can stop by my brother-in-law's and drop off that luggage. That's how Rick explained it. That's how he explained how it works. When your brain knows, I have this time to do this task, it works very differently, and automatically you will work much more efficiently. If you don't believe me, he said, and this is true, think about how much you get done the day before you go on vacation. You have a finite amount of time, and all of a sudden you kick it into high gear and you're super productive. So time blocking is the key. I rely on that now for the last 15 years running my own business. I do that. There are so many tools today that make it even easier to do that, like Notion and InMotion and all kinds of tools that help you do your task planning and block out time on your schedule for certain tasks so you can work in that efficient manner. So that's time hack number 2. This is the last one. And I'm sharing all the secrets here because this is part of my proprietary training that I do for time management. So one of the things that he said is that we tend to tolerate things that slow us down. Now, this could be in all areas of our life. This could be in all areas of our business. I did this at a corporation where within a department, they did this activity for all the things that they did, the type of work that they did. And this activity or this tool is called tolerations. What are the things that we are tolerating and are not being done in the most efficient manner or not being done in a way that is complete? You make a chart, and tolerations is you could make 4 quadrants, you could make 6 areas, and you label them. Let's take a simple example, the way he presented it to me and the way I did it. You do home, you do work, you do family, and you do health, let's just say. And as you go through a week or so, you start to notice the things that you're tolerating. Those things that are not being done in an efficient manner, you mark them down. Then you pick one thing in each of those quadrants or each of those sections and find a way to solve it so it never comes back again. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what mine were. I'm going to tell you what mine were in 3 areas. First, laundry. Okay. One of the things that I was very good about was doing laundry, but for some reason I would wash it, put it in the dryer, and then it would never come out of the dryer and or get folded and put away. It would sit in the dryer, and then you know how that goes. You go in the dryer, you're like, oh, this stuff is all wrinkled again. Now I got to run the dryer again. Then somebody said to me, okay, so I'm going to tell you what I do. I just take it out of the dryer because I'm going to keep going with the laundry. I don't want it to stop me. I tried that. And what I would do is I would take the laundry out, put it in a laundry basket. And I had all these laundry baskets that were filled with clean laundry that didn't get folded or put away. Then I would sometimes dump it out because the laundry baskets, would be kind of the container. If I had it on the couch, it would just be on the couch and I'd have to do it. Nope. Sometimes it would get pushed over. I tried everything. Somebody told me, oh, get rid of your laundry baskets. And the point I'm making here is this took quite a while to solve, but that's the point. The thing that you pick, you have to keep trying, find a solution until it goes away and it never comes back. Now, some people have said, well, you could get rid of it altogether and send it out to a laundry service. That counts, okay? That counts. It's something you're tolerating that is being done in a really incomplete manner and very inefficient, and you want to solve it. What I finally did that solved it was I would not take the laundry out of the dryer unless I was ready to fold it. Now, I'm not going to lie. There were times that I still had to run it, right? Run the dryer again so that it could be hot and unwrinkled. But it did not come out of the dryer until I was ready to fold it and put it away. I wouldn't put it in the laundry basket. I'd fold it right there and bring it right to wherever it needed to go to be put away. I finally solved that one. Okay, number 2. My thing was I constantly found that I was going to parties, especially with my son, birthday parties, where I never had the gift ahead of time. I'd say, okay, the party starts at 3. Well, I got to leave at 2 because I got to stop and get the gift, and it's going to take 20 minutes to get there, so it'll give me 40 minutes to get the gift, get back in the car, and get there on time. I'd buy the wrapping paper or the tissue paper and the gift bag and all of that on there, and I hated that. I said, why does this keep happening? And as much as I tried to plan, I just never could accomplish getting the gift ahead of time. So finally, my solution was I bought a bunch of gift cards. I bought a bunch of cards for birthday, for whatever it is. Birthday for kids' birthdays, regular birthdays. And I would keep those gift cards in a little box. And when it was time to go to the party, one of the gift cards would come out, one of the cards would come out, and that was it. It created so much freedom, I can't even tell you. As long as I replenished those cards and replenished the supply of the gift cards, I was always set. Now, a lot of people said to me, well, wait a minute. Don't you want to buy a special gift? Yes. But if I never do it, then is that reasonable? No. So that was number 2. And then the last was pretty boring, but it was one that I struggled with. In my office, I constantly had all this filing to do. And it was in piles everywhere. I put on my calendar, file every week, but somehow the piles still just would be built up. So the once a week filing helped only when I finally put a folder in my file cabinet right in the beginning that said file. So anytime I had a paper that needed to be filed, I didn't have to file it at that moment. I just had to put it in that folder. And therefore, then no other big piles of filing got built up around my office. That was how I solved that one. So I think you should be able to get the point here. The point is the tolerations are things you're tolerating that aren't done efficiently, that bother you, that eat up your energy, that eat up your time because you're worried about it or you stress about it or you don't do it in a very efficient way. Those were really simple examples. But this can be for anything in your office, in your departments of your company, in your life, whatever the things are, jot them down, pick one thing, and solve that toleration so that it never comes back. Those are my 3 time hacks that Rick taught me, and I'm sharing with you. And I'd love to know if you try any of them. But the major point here, the umbrella of what we're talking about today, is how you face or handle being able to do things in a new way. If people make suggestions, or you learn things, or somebody you're working with suggests a different way, or teaches you a different way, do you turn your nose up and say, no, that won't work for me? Because that's what I did when Rick suggested these things for me. And I can't believe that just a little bit of push, he was a great coach, a little bit of pushing and getting me to a place where I could be comfortable to at least try it made a world of difference. And I'm going to leave you with this because this is how he got through to me. He said, listen, you're not buying the coat. You're just trying it on. You're just trying it on. If it doesn't fit, you don't buy it. And if you buy it and you don't like it, you could return it. So approach changes and approach thinking about a change with that mentality. You're just trying it on. Go ahead and do that and see if it works for you. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm so happy to have this time with you. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Finding the Upside. Bye for now.